Legend, Legend, Ash Hat Pikachu, Legend, Starter, Legend. Okay. I wish that I had some sort of priority to break the Shadow Shield. If I were able to break that Shadow Shield, Poltergeist would drop Necrozma, like, instantly. But it is a +1 boosted Poltergeist, so who knows? Ooh, that is disgusting damage. It's absolutely filthy. Okay, so definitely
ain't no fucking way, boy.
Not only was I able to get the strategy off, but I was able to show off the focus band actually kicked in for it. Dude, honestly, props to that. That's fucking hilarious.
Here we go!
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
in danger!
Tiger.
Alright. Hey guys, what's going on? It's TrainerOblivio. So I am going to go ahead and review the team once more. I say once more because I I have already reviewed this team, but it looks like the footage was completely bogus because my mic was muted, and so we didn't get any of that. So no worries. We're going to go ahead and go over the team that you guys just seen. So this is my second Halloween team, and I'm super excited to have to bring that to you guys. I have, starting here, the start of the team, Forest Curse. This is my Trevenant. This is a really cool, exciting set to show you guys. So Forest Curse, I named them Forest Curse, obviously, for Halloween, Hallows Eve. And then Curse, because of its signature move that I wanted to showcase Forest Curse. So what Forest Curse does is it's quite the equivalent to the Goregeist video that I did about a week ago or so. And the Goregeist showcase Trick or Treat, which adds a ghost type. Forest Curse adds a grass typing to the Pokemon that your partner Pokemon, your ally Pokemon. Now, this one is exceedingly more difficult to get off than Trick or Treat, because slapping a ghost type to a Pokemon adds an immunity, it adds certain resistances, so it's actually generally a good thing. Grass typing is generally considered a really bad typing, which sucks because I really love grass Pokemon, but generally speaking, competitively speaking, it has way too many weaknesses. I think it's one of the typings alongside with like Bug that has the most weaknesses. It's really bad, and it doesn't really do that good offensively anyways. Rock, water, and ground, I think, are the only things that it has an advantage over. So 3 advantages versus like 6 weaknesses, it just doesn't make sense. Anyways, however, the funny part was that I have found it way harder to get the Trick or Treat team off, and this team I immediately got 2 dubs back to back. So it was hilarious. So I didn't have to do a lot of recording for this team, which was super exciting. But anyways, let's go ahead and explain the set. So Forest Curse only purpose was to be tanky enough to live and pass on that grass typing. Similar to the Goregeist passing on the ghost typing, I only needed this thing to be alive so that it could pass on the grass typing. So I gave it max HP, max attack. I wanted to make it a little beefy. Its stat spread, which I'll put up right now, is actually pretty cool. Decent HP, good attack, great attack actually. It actually has a really overlooked attack. Its attack is really good. Decent defense, decent special defense, and then obviously special attack and speed didn't care for because we're not using them. But I gave it the relaxed nature to patch up its defense a little bit, so it made it a little bit more even, 110, 106 on the spectrum there, with a beefy attack and a beefy HP. Poltergeist as one of its physical stabs, Hornleech as its secondary stab, and also to keep it alive so it could recover HP. Trick Room was there because generally speaking, the rest of this team was really slow, and Trevenant itself was actually very slow. And so the issue with that was that if I couldn't get the Forest Curse off quick enough, I would have to Trick Room for speed control. So I use it as speed control and for this strategy. Its ability is Harvest, and the item is Enigma Berry. This actually worked out really well. You see Harvest with like Citrus Berry or Lum Berry or something like that. I really wanted to use Enigma Berry. I spent like a good 3 days like shaking a single tree just to find one, and I finally did find one. And it's super cool. So what an Enigma Berry does is typically the held item of a Darkrai, but if you get hit by a super effective move, it'll restore HP, which is cool. So you take the hit and then it'll restore HP, and it restores, I think, as much as a Citrus Berry, so like 30%, which is really cool. And then Harvest is there to reactivate it, so it's just here to stick around and be alive, basically. So my bad. Moving forward, then, of course, we have Huso Huso. Huso Huso was a shiny Gyarados that I kind of just had sitting in a box. I think I brought this over from Gen 4, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, from Johto. From Hard Gold, Soul Silver. I wanted to run a Gyarados because I haven't run Gyarados in a minute, but I didn't want the basic Gyarados, and I actually wanted to run Double Intimidate on this team, but I opted out of it, and it didn't matter. But I did want an Intimidator, and so Huso the Gyarados would actually help with making Trevenant even bulkier by reducing the attack of other opponents. It was a great answer to Zacian's nonsense, and generally a good Pokemon. Its only really bad weakness, its glaring weakness, being that it's a water flying, is electric. It's 4 times weak to electric, but with the Forest Curse, it reduces down to a normal super effective weakness of only 2, and Gyarados is generally it's a pretty bulky Pokemon. Outside of its electric weakness, it's a pretty thick Pokemon. Has a high HP, high attack, its defense is solid, its special defense is big, it's huge. It has a decent speed, and the only bad stat that it really has is its special attack. I wanted to run special attacking Gyarados, but I did need something with a little bit of oomph on this team, and that was this Gyarados. It was weakness policyed. Once I got the Forest Curse off, it would just murder. So I had Bounce for stab, Aqua Tail for stab, Power Whip for actually a tertiary stab now that it was a grass type with the Forest Curse, and then Facade was there just in case to answer. Obviously, when somebody sees a Gyarados, the first thing they want to do is burn it so that it shuts it down. But this was a weakness policy and Facade running Gyarados, so that would have turned out very poorly for whoever did that. This was max HP, max attack, making it extra thick, so it was super hard to kill. And so they would hit really, really hard, and I really enjoyed running this Gyarados. Our next Pokemon here is Hardwood. I love running the Sudowoodo. I don't know if you guys have seen this set before. This is different from my Rattle Team set, but I have ran this Sudowoodo actually quite a couple times. Starting in Sun and Moon competitive, I've ran this specific Sudowoodo. So this specific Sudowoodo is actually the Rockhead Sudowoodo, which I typically run under a Trick Room team. This one's Adamant and max HP, max attack, so that it is a little bit bulkier than usual, but it hits like an absolute truck. And the reason being is because of Rockhead and the Expert Belt. So Expert Belt gives it 20% more in boost and damage for super effective moves, which it has plenty of. It has Head Smash, which is a very strong stab. It has Hammer Arm to reduce its speed and get an extra boost if it Dynamaxes. And of course, it's a really strong, hard-hitting move. The reduction in speed comes great into play with the Trick Room because the slower it is, the faster it is. You know what I'm saying? And then Wood Hammer is another excellent, really strong move with absolutely no recoil, courtesy of the Rockhead. Copycat, I just love using Copycat. It's a great move. It was also really hilarious if somebody tried to use like a Behemoth Blade or something like that. I could Copycat it, send it right back, and it was really fun. Also, if for whatever reason I wanted to opt out for copycatting one of the other teams or my allies' moves, I could do that as well. But that is Hardwood. This is Menehune. So Menehune is actually really cool because this is a shiny little Marowak that I actually got I brought him over from the virtual console, as you can see right there. But I did put him through Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon to not only get a little bit trained, but also so that I could evolve it, because it was a Cubone that I got, and then I evolved it into shiny Alola Marowak and Alola. Fire Ghost typing is actually really cool because when you add the grass typing to it, but by the way, Sudowoodo with the grass type on it, Rock Grass, it's killer. Rock Grass is one of the best typings, I think, in my opinion, because it covers each other's weaknesses pretty well. and it murders. It's a really murderous because rock does a lot of damage, and then if you add grass on there, it's doing a lot of damage. So, arguably the best Pokemon on this team is Sudowoodo. But we're not gonna count out the other ones. Of course, when I run these teams, I have to run at least one basic Pokemon, because yeah, the whole team as a whole is a meme, and it is a joke. But the point is to to get these memes off, I do need just a little bit of flair in there. So unfortunately, this is your basic Alolan Marowak. I haven't ran a basic Alolan Marowak. I have a special Alolan Marowak. I have a defensive Alolan Marowak, but I don't have your regular Rockhead, Thick Club, Flare Blitz Alolan Marowak. I had never run it. So I thought I'd just run it now, right? It was all of the rage back in the Alolan days, back in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I don't know how big of a splash it's made in Sword and Shield competitive. I imagine with the immense amount of power creep, not that big. But then again, this Pokemon does a hefty amount of damage, so it's not something that you want to count out. It has a really beefy 160 attack. Now, typically, Marowak, I'll put up its stats too because I could be wrong, but I think it gets a base stat of attack of like 80, 85, something like that. What the Thick Club does is it's a specific item for Cubone and Marowak which doubles its attack power. And so that essentially will take it from a base 80 to 160 or like 170 if it was 85. So max HP, max attack, it's very basic. Max HP to increase its thickness, max attack so it hits like an absolute truck, Rockhead, and then of course Flare Blitz to destroy. Bone Meringue was there for coverage, and because I just like the move Bone Meringue, it's fun. And then Shadow Bone obviously is its secondary signature move, and stab, sorry. So yeah, Shadow Bone there as its secondary stab and its signature move. Protect was there to help it get the Trick Room up if need be, so it could just protect turn 1 and then start to destroy things turn 2 onward. It does say Impish Nature, but I gave it, I believe, a Brave Mint. I gave it a Brave Mint so that it could function even better in the Trick Room. Next Pokemon is Seismitoad. So hilariously, I had 2 Seismitoads ran on both of the teams. Seismitoad has great synergy with Gourgeist and Trevenant. And an Axorus here, actually, I think he was the MVP in both battles, which is super cool. Water Ground has one weakness, one terrible weakness, and that's Grass. So, when you add Grass typing to Water Ground, it becomes Water Ground Grass. And yeah, it does gain a weakness to Poison and Bug, but it gets rid of the Grass weakness, it reduces it anyways, and it becomes all around just bulkier essentially, and it also becomes a menace because an Axorus got access to a couple of cool moves. So this is my Life Orb Seismitoad. I believe this one was max HP, max attack. I wanted to run Poison Touch. I haven't ran a Poison Touch Pokemon in forever. I did want to run Poison Jab, but the more I thought about it, if I Dynamax this Pokemon, I would want it to get an attack boost and not a special attack boost. And I would also want my allies to get an attack boost since most of them were physical attackers and not special attackers. Matter of fact, I think I only had one special attacker on the team, but we didn't need it anyways. We overwhelmed the competition. Max HP to give it as big thickness as possible. It has a really decent, actually really good HP stat. The rest of its stats are fairly decent, and its attack stat, when boosted by max attack and Brave Nature, is actually really high. I think it's like base 105 or something like that. And it's really strong. Poison Touch, because I have ran Swift Swim Seismitoad, I have ran Water Absorb Seismitoad, but I haven't ran a Poison Touch Seismitoad, so I wanted to do that, see if I can get some of the poisons off. It would be hilarious, and it would also be extremely helpful to the team. Liquidation is a very powerful stab. Drain Punch was the move that I debated heavily with Poison Jab, just because I really wanted to get the poisons off, but, it doesn't matter because contact moves will produce that poisoning anyways. So Liquidation's contact, Drain Punch's contact. It also recovers HP that it would be slowly losing from the Life Orb boosts. Stomping Tantrum worked beautifully with its third stab, which was Power Whip, because Power Whip doesn't have a great accuracy. It's only base 85, so it'll miss more often than not, right? Or more often than you would think. But with Stomping Tantrum, not only did it provide a pseudo high horsepower, right? Because it's a little weaker than high horsepower, and it obviously it's not hitting as hard, but it works beautifully because if I were to miss the power whip, the next move would be a ridiculously based 150 powered stomping tantrum. So really great strategy. It worked perfectly well with the Forest Curse. And I really love, like I said, he was the MVP in a lot of the battles. I think both of the battles that I have, so good stuff. And then Creepy Clown kind of sealed the deal here. Obviously, all of the Pokemon that I previously mentioned outside of Trevenant are very high octane. All of them are go, 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 attacking, super strong. Like, we needed a wall breaker, right? But I was having a lot of difficulty finding a wall breaker that I wanted until I thought back of a set that I actually gave my little brother for one of the tournaments that we had on the channel. This is my Creepy Clown, also keeping to the Halloween theme, of course. So this is a Creepy Clown. Anaxaris is actually the scientific name for a poisonous frog, so that was fitting. Menehune is actually the name of Hawaiian mountain people, which are actually part of Hawaiian folklore. You should look them up. It's actually quite interesting. And so obviously Marowak is pretty short and he's from Hawaii, so I thought it'd be fitting. And it's a ghost, right? Because the little Hawaiian mountain people, they're also like spirits of the mountain. It's cool folklore. I'd definitely look into it. Hardwood, just because I was feeling hilarious. Also because it disguises itself like a costume, so Halloween. Huso is actually the scientific name for one of the giant sturgeon that exists in the Great Lakes. And to me, I've seen a picture. I'll actually put the picture up right now so you guys can see it. When I look at a shiny red Gyarados and I see this picture of this giant sturgeon, the backs of them look almost identical to me, or they look very similar anyways. And they're both terrifying, right? They're both terrifying, Halloween scary. It all makes sense. And then, of course, Hollow's Curse is very self-explanatory. But back to our very last member, Creepy Clown is goated. Do not sleep on this set, guys. This is actually something that I made up a while ago, and I really, really love it. And I'm finally going to be able to share it with you guys. So I kept it a secret because I gave it to my little brother, but he doesn't even play this game, so I thought I'd adopt it myself, finally. This is Eviolite Mr. Mime, Galarian Mr. Mime. So obviously, as you know, Mr. Mime got an evolution in its game, meaning that Mr. Mime itself can be an Eviolite Pokemon, and it is an excellent Eviolite Pokemon in my opinion. It still has some of the stats, I think only off by like 10 or something like that, or maybe it's still the same, but its distribution of stats is perfect for an Eviolite Pokemon. It has the stats of Mr. Mime, which means it really only has a HP, a terrible attack, a not so good defense, but it's workable, and then he has great special attack, great special defense, and great speed, which means I was able to run max HP and then split defense and special attack on the Mr. Mime so that it could be as thick as possible. I gave it a bold nature so that it could be really tanky. As you can see, its defense is actually higher than its special defense, which its special defense is pretty big. I'll put up its stats right now. I think it's like a base 100, so that's pretty impressive. It's already fast, it already hits pretty hard, so I give it just a little bit more oomph so that it can hit hard, and it functions beautifully as the wall breaker without having to even break any walls because of its ability, Screen Cleaner. Screen Cleaner is one of my favorite abilities from this generation. I use it a lot. I use it Galarian Mr. Rhyme a lot because of that reason. So screens are everywhere. Grimmsnarl's everywhere. You know, Lapras was everywhere for a while. Aurora Veil is everywhere. And it's super annoying to get rid of because you have very limited resources on how to actually get rid of screens. Grimmsnarl being the worst perpetrator of it. Grimmsnarl can get away with getting up a screen regardless. It has enough HP, even if it's not defensively invested, it has enough HP that after it sets up a prankster screen, it will live. So even though its defense isn't that great, it still will live one hit really poorly. And then, of course, getting rid of it via Brick Break is about the only viable option you have. You can't Prankster taunt a Dark type. You can taunt him, but he's still going to get at least one turn of something off. So he's very annoying to deal with, but when you give the right support to Mr. Mime, he just comes in, and the second he comes in, all screens are gone. So they can set up all day long. They can put up this light screen, reflects, all that good jazz. As soon as he comes in, it's over. Taunt, obviously, because he's a fast Pokemon and we need a fast taunt. The more and more that the metagame develops and the more prevalent Grimmsnarl is, yes, Prankster taunt is cool and only a handful of Pokemon get it. But here's the thing about Prankster Taunt, right, that I've learned. So I'm going to put you guys on game. So here, keep an ear open. Prankster Taunt doesn't work for Dark-type Pokemon. And almost, and I mean almost, every Prankster Dark-type user that is worth their spit or knows what they're doing knows this, which means that you will not be able to taunt the prankster that is setting up all of these hazards or screens or whatever the crap to get in your way. But a fast taunt is still good. A fast taunt will still work. A taunt coming from, you can taunt any Pokemon, you just can't prankster taunt dark type Pokemon. So that's my bit of Oblivio advice there. Bit of my expertise. So taunt there to shut down any kind of trick room setters or tailwind setters or anything like that, so that we can shut those down. Ice beam for stab, power slip because it works beautifully with the Eviolite. I invested defensively, right, in this Mr. Mime, so if I power split a really strong Pokemon like a legendary, it's going to take our attack and special attack, put them together, and then even them out. So what that does is, hilariously, when I power split the really strong legendary, it takes my little baby stats, evens them out with their gigantic stats, so they get weakened while I get boosted. And that's the idea behind the power split. So it'll take them, basically have their attack so they're not hitting anywhere near as hard as they're supposed to be, but I'm hitting significantly harder than I'm actually supposed to be hitting. And then expanding force, obviously, because it's a great stab, and if I were to get the psychic terrain off, it would actually be hitting both sides of the field. But anyways, that is the second Halloween themed team. The first, of course, being right here with the Gourgeist. I do appreciate you guys. I'm sorry that I had to re-record this. I triple check and made sure that my mic is on this time around so that the recording sticks. Anyways, you guys have been amazing. I've been TrainerOblivio and TrainerOblivio. Checking out. Have a good one, guys.